Okay. Okay.
Music Monday with D.B.P. Production.
What's up? What's up? What's up? So normally you see me making a video or something. Doing something on Monday, so I'm doing something a little different. It's new to me. So we in another a great location that's in the middle of Georgia area. Um, I'm gonna let them introduce themselves and introduce the nice facility that they let us use. Go ahead, Mr.
Well, my name is Joseph Brown, and this is Brown Music LLC. We teach 4-year-olds and up piano and drums, keyboard. We have original curriculums that we've written through our own experience, and we just try to convey music to kids and adults in ways that fit everybody's unique learning style. I've had training from the formal side. I've had training from the non-formal side. I've had my own training that I had to make up from scratch. And so we just try to appeal to everybody's different learning style. And I'll let my man introduce himself, but he's just recently joined the team, and we're glad to have him on board.
All right, so I'm Adriel, or AD as most people call me. I'm one of the partners here at Brown Music, but I also have my own entity, Brown Music LLC, and I am the drum instructor here. And pretty much like Brandon said, we are making it personal, bringing people in, not teaching them the traditional classical music and making them read this and read that, but we're building it our own way, letting the kids learn music, learn their own way, play it their own way, feel it their own way. So
Gotcha. Then we also got my good brother Curtis Oompa Carswell, Oompa Music Group.
Okay.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, hello everyone. My name is Curtis, also known as Oompa. I have my own LLC as well, Oompa Music Group. Uh, I do mainly live arrangements, sessions, recordings, church services, worship service, weddings, touring, anything of that aspect. Also, I'm trying to get on the teacher side, but the Lord hasn't got to me that point yet. But that's normally what I do. So, I also do consulting work for us coming in, looking at sound system and stuff like that. Rebuilding drums, changing out drum heads, fixing them up, tuning them up, everything like that. So, yeah, so this is what I do.
Gotcha. Well, so
Dante, you gonna hold on.
everybody already know who I am. Everybody already
Dante,
look.
introduce yourself. Now, mind you, he's the only one got a logo on.
Here you go. My name is Dante. Y'all already know me, man. D.B.P. Production. My logo is music that speaks to the soul. So there you go. So yeah, just about me, man. I'm just trying pretty much put some music out there when we do it or produce whenever we play. I play with my heart, my soul. Put everything into it because I don't take this gift for granted. Um, there's a lot of people take this gift for granted, and I don't want to take it for granted, man, because I can be playing one day, something happen, I'm not able to play no more. So I try to make sure I give God all the praise, for activity use of my limbs, able to stand up, walk, do all this, So yeah, that's me. It's all about me. D.B.P. production. Happy now.
Yes, we're happy. Yes, no. White member. Yes, sir.
But no, so like I said, it's a little different situation for me, allowing others to come into the picture. I want other people to be exposed. I want everybody to win pretty much. And that's my goal is to make sure everybody win. Those that want to be helped, those that want to win. because I can't make you do it. You got to want to do it yourself. But yeah, so first before we go into like some of the questions, um, we all been blessed to do something. God blessed us with something. So if y'all can give like a quick little story, I know we talked before we jump, but if somebody can give, y'all can give a good little story real quick how God brought you through something. Just somebody need to hear something. So whoever wants to start.
So we talk about testimonies, and we
Oh,
talk about just
whatever it is, gifts, whatever, it's open floor.
Got you. Well, like I said, I had a little bit of training as far as piano is concerned as a kid. My granddad played. He taught strictly formal reading, that sort of thing. And he started teaching me. Then he passed and started kind of getting into it on my own, picking out what I could. Um, and I met a couple of people that helped me somewhat, man. And then, as time went on, those relationships kind of dwindled. Went to college and met a couple more musicians, and so I just been kind of slowly finding my way through this whole thing. Um, anyway, fast forward a decade plus, and I had a job downtown running the city's parking, and that was probably no, well, not no probably ended. That was the highest paying job I had. I was happy, and then my family and I started experiencing some things, and for different reasons, I had to leave that job. And my mom used to tell me, "You should teach." I'm like, yeah, then I had a dream one night. My wife and I were out of town, and I had a dream one night, and it was just about teaching, just teaching music, And I just wrote it off as a dream. My wife was one that you need to write that down. I'm like, all right, cool, I'll write it. Um, there was another period, man, where we kind of tried a pilot some years back to see how things would go, and it was extremely successful, man. But I just got on with life, just trying to see other things. Long story short, after I left that job downtown, um, I was at a place where this is all I could hear. This is all I could see. My wife can tell you I've got folders this thick from nights the ideas just kept coming and I couldn't sleep. I had to write. I had to write. And so we're literally sitting in one of my testimonies, right? I did not want to do this. I was terrified. I was like, God, I ain't qualified, man. Get one of these other cats to do it. I can't do this, man. And just kind of minimize things, man. I'm happy now. I'm utilizing every one of my gifts that I developed as a kid unknowingly. I didn't know that I was developing these. Well, I wasn't doing it at all. I didn't know God was dropping me in these situations to develop communication skills, to develop business and management and all those sorts of things that you need to put a business together and be able to translate music into a language that everybody can understand. And so for us to be even functioning right now after 2 years plus is a testimony in itself. So that's a little bit about me. We don't look longer than I'm here for.
Hey man,
Amazing.
no time.
Well, I guess for me, of course, I didn't go to school for music or anything like that, but music has been in my blood throughout my life. I was prophesied as a little kid that I would be a known drummer, be a drummer, be a musician, take music seriously, things of that nature. Um, my mom used to tell me before she passed, music is what's gonna get you through. She used to tell me that all the time. Music is gonna get you through. And I can definitely say my mom told the truth. Music is really getting me through. That's my way of being sane to the world. You know, everybody knows stuff in the world going crazy, people going crazy. But I know if all else fails, God and my drums gonna always get me through. I can always sit on the drum set, play, give it to God, and I can just walk away happy, not having to worry about what's gonna happen, this, that, and the third. A lot of the stuff that I've learned, I've either taught myself or now because I'm more particular and intricate about what I play, how I play, how I carry myself musically. I pay attention to people like Oompa. I pay attention to people like Dante. I watch their characteristics. I watch how they carry themselves musically and done music. And so, these guys are my mentors. They didn't know it, but these guys are my mentors, man. So get yourself around somebody that can really bring you through besides God. Because what's gonna happen, God is gonna put somebody to help you bring you through. He's gonna put somebody in your corner. And I just feel like these two guys, my business partner here, this is who God ordained to help bring me through, help bring my musical journey through, my musical career through. So that's real testimony.
Amazing. It's an honor, man. It's an honor. Well, guys, I would say God has literally took me through a period of sacrifice. I'll start when I was a kid. As a kid, started playing drums when I was 5. Piano, sort of, kind of dealt with it in middle school, high school. Really didn't get serious until after high school. With piano, but I hated it. I hated it. I hated it. I hated it. Couldn't, didn't want to learn it or whatever. But now I love it. I love it. That's probably, I'll play keyboard over drums any day now. Just about, because it's just, the piano is a different type of instrument, and it speaks. When you have the right sound, you have the right layers, the right chords and everything like that. It's just a melody from heaven. But a couple years back, God had took me through a period of sacrifice, and it was a humble experience. I was cuffed to things for as materialistic things. I'm making all this money, you know what I'm saying? I'm good, you know what I'm saying? I'm doing this. I'm feeding me, and I'm exalting myself. And God had to literally stop me. If I didn't hear what he told me to do, I would not be standing here today having this conversation with nobody. Like, legit. And so he had to humble me down. I was like, Curtis, you ain't did nothing. Those things what you had were resources, but you treated them as your source. I am the only source. So you're supposed to depend on me. So my dependence was on my job. My dependence on my check that I was making and everything like that. Depending on things, I'm thinking that I'm buying things is making me who I am. It wasn't. It was only just making me a lot worse than what I was supposed to be. So he took me through this whole period of sacrificing and really humbling myself to him, getting back to him, and understanding what my sole purpose is on this earth. And I thank God that I gave him my life completely, and I know my purpose. So musicians, I just want to encourage you, please find your purpose. I'm not saying that you can't go on tour. I'm not saying that you can't play at church. I'm not saying you can't be on an R&B gig. What I'm saying is every musician has a purpose. Every singer has a purpose. Find your lane and stay in it. Don't be trying to ride somebody's lane because they're excelling. Your time is coming. Everybody has a different time of succeeding, and everybody has a different time of heartbreak. I mean, that's just life. It's up and down. But in those times of heartbreak is a learning experience. There's things that we have that we sometimes we cause. There's some things the devil cause, and there's sometimes things that God causes. Yep. You know what I'm saying? So we just have mentally prepare for that. And like Adriel was saying earlier, like being a role model, musicians, like I had to literally change my thinking habits and even the way I dress, the way I carry myself, because people, like, you are literally, your name is everything. You're a walking book. So whatever that front cover is, what it look like, that's how people gonna judge you. Now I know the Bible said, do not judge, but whatever your front cover look like, it needs to be presentable. So when they open up the book, it's readable. So, but yeah, I just play drums, keys. that's it. And I produce a little bit. Sorry for going on the deep end. Sorry.
Before we go on, I do want to add one thing to what Oompa was saying, about finding purpose. And to add to that, know your target audience.
Yes.
Everybody's audience is not going to be the same. My audience is not Oompa's audience. His audience is not Brandon's. Brandon's is not
Right.
If it is, hey, more power to you. I promise you more power to you. But I can guarantee you almost 100%, your audience is not the same audience as everybody else. It's not. Understand your audience. Know your audience. Cater to your audience. Stop trying to, if you know you're not an R&B musician, stop trying to play R&B. Let's just call it how it is.
Hello.
Yeah, it's okay to branch out, but the first thing you need to do is perfect what you're doing. If you know gospel is your realm, perfect it. Now, that's not saying you're gonna be a perfect musician, but get more in tune to what you're doing. Get more in tune to how you listen, how you prepare, being on time, being dressed properly.
Yeah, my son.
Time.
But yeah,
Because I ain't even gonna say it like I'm on time all the time. I'm not. But at the same time, too, if I'm gonna be late, I'm gonna make sure I know my music. I'm gonna make sure I got my and my sticks, my drum set, my snare, my kick, my drum, cymbals, stuff like that. If you're gonna be late, at least come prepared. If you're gonna be on time, still be prepared. Either way, though, man, find your target audience. That's the biggest thing. On top of finding your purpose, because really and truly, your purpose is gonna lead you to your audience.
that's
There you go.
that's real, bro.
Oh boy. Oh, I need to tell mine.
Oh yeah.
I'm doing the
host.
thing, man.
Just
No, I'm just, I'm not the person asking, talking to y'all. Y'all, and this is what I have to deal with on a day-to-day basis.
Sure do. You know how we be on the phone.
Anyway,
Glory.
let's see. I guess, with me, uh, one thing I was always told, you will never fit in. Um,
Mm, mm,
and there was times I tried to make myself fit in, into situations that I know I ain't supposed to be in, or
mhm.
um.
Right.
So, I was always told that, and the weird part about it was always from people that never talked to each other. So, it's like I can go here and I can be talking to this person and they'll be like, well, you know what you're called to be, you know what you're called to do. Um, in order to make it, you have to separate yourself. And then also we talking musically, uh I always learned from my former pastor that practice makes improvement. I know we say practice make perfect, but he taught us, he instilled in me, was practice make improvement. Um, only way I can improve is if I practice.
Exactly.
Um, so it's like, I had dreams when I was younger. Like watching John P. Key back in the days, like making my little makeshift pillow drum set with the symbol being the lamp shade, you know. You know, I had dreams, man, and I imagined myself like I'm sitting on stage with this person and blah blah, and stages that, I always want to be on this stage. I always want to be on BET. I always want to be on stuff like that. So, I just as I got older, um, it's like, yeah, I ain't going nowhere. But I still love drums. I still do what I do. Um, but I stayed faithful with it, with practicing and stuff like that. Even though I didn't know a lot until I left my home church for a little while. Um, and when I left, I went over to New Piney Grove, and that's when the challenge started. Um, the challenge was tough. And I appreciate that. Kalea was the shout out to Kalea. She was the still is the director there. And the first song she wanted to hit on me was like "Everything Will Be All Right" by Ty Tribbett. I have never.
I got that. I got that night.
I was I was always stuck on old school. My church is old school. Which now is they transition. We do a whole lot now, but during that time we was really like old school. So I didn't know anything like Ty Tribbett like that. But one thing we did, and Patrick was on keys. Um, we went from 6 all the way to about 9 on one song till we got it. Um, and all I kept hearing was practice makes improvement. Practice makes, but I got frustrated. I threw sticks. I did some everything. Um, but long story short, it started from it. That's where my next started from. And then that's when I began to get calls. I wasn't looking for the calls, but they started calling me. Um, then I got in touch with Charles King. Shout out to my bro. And he really gave me an opportunity. And I knew it had to be God because, man, like some of the places we've been, and like I said, Bobby Jones Gospel was one of my number one show stage I wanted to go on. Just the experience, just to see what it was like and stuff like that. And sure enough, blessing, hey, God opened that door and ended up meeting a whole bunch of other people, like musicians. I really didn't know about it at the time, but um, meeting a lot of artists. It was pretty cool. Then more doors started opening, more, and the thing is, one thing Charles always just tell me, man, stay ready, Bishop. Stay ready. Um, and that means a lot. Somebody tell you to stay ready because they believe in you.
Right.
And that was like one of the blessings. My parents believed in me. My church believed in me, and even all that I learned, I went back to my home church. Um, after I met my beautiful wife, shout out, hey babe, how you doing? I make sure I call out. Uh, but I was able to take that home with me to my home trip because that was something that we needed. I was able to bring in, other musicians to help out the musicians that were there, help able to bring in somebody to help out the singers, different stuff like that. But um that's mainly my testimony is I never gave up.
That's real.
Wow.
Many times I wanted to give up playing uh just church. It didn't even matter what it was. I just didn't want to play no more. I didn't want to do none of that. But it was always, you can't run from it. You gotta just do it. Again, stop trying to fit in out there because you ain't gonna make it out that way. Come back to me and I take care of you. And that's what happened. So God bless me with a lot. So yeah, I play drums and bass. Um, so so
That's hilarious.
But no, shoot, y'all about answered like most of the questions already though.
Oh
Like,
Jesus, I'm sorry.
like really, but um, who's your inspiration? Like, who's your inspiration? Who inspired you? Like to even just when you got started or whatever.
Well, when I first started, it was my granddad. I thought he was the coolest guy walking. You know what I mean? And I got in and started developing my own taste and stuff, and that was huge on Jamie Foxx. So, oh my god, that was so when he sang the fancy, I was like, I want to do that for the rest of my life. And, but no, man, I started meeting some guys outside of just the AME crowd where I grew up, man. And I think the first non-traditional musician I heard was Adriel Evans. I went over to St. Paul. I was maybe, yeah, I might not even been a preteen yet, man. But I went and visited St. Paul, and I had never heard any music like that in my life. I grew up where it was the old school piano, and it was usually out of tune. You might have a drummer, but most of the time it was just a piano, man. So I go over there and I hear the band sing, and I fell in love immediately. So, it was that. I remember in high school, Miss Carter, she directed the Black History Choir in Northeast, man. I want to say that was Mike playing over there. And I was like, wow, how do these people make these sounds with their hands?
Would you sing hype too?
That's a shot. I'm mad for him.
I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry, man.
But yeah, man, I'm taking a little bit from some of everybody in the middle of Georgia saying, growing up, of course, you listen to Kurt Franklin, you listen to John P. Key, and all of those guys like that. But as far as the local talent, is really what did it for me because I can see you. You're a real human. You're not an edited track or nothing like that, man. Cornelius Spencer, and growing up getting to see people like him, and then met Pratt, while it's like, Jesus, man, like these guys are really talented.
Exactly.
And so I wanted a little piece of him. And there's plenty more, man. But like I said, Central Georgia is really what inspired me, man, because I could see these real tangible humans that took the time to perfect their craft in order to serve. Like going back to what you said, that purpose. You find that purpose, and you learn your target audience. You learn, why God gave you the gift. And these guys were able to project it flawlessly, whether it was an AME, non-denominational, Pentecost. It didn't matter. These guys knew what they were doing. And I said, yo, I
Facts.
So my first inspiration was my dad. My dad's been playing for a long time. He's actually just running sound now. He's finally retired from playing. But that was my inspiration for a long time. My dad opened up for Fred Hammond. He's opened up for Kurt Franklin. He's opened up for John P. Key. Playing for the churches that he's played for, being around the Andre Taylors and the Fraleys and the Oompas, the Prags, people like that. That local talent is what really opened my eyes, because just like Brandon, I can actually touch these guys. I can call these guys and be like, hey, how do I do this? How do I do that? I ain't got to just watch them on screen. I can actually sit around these guys, watch them prepare, watch them track stuff out, watch them actually sit down and chop for 30 minutes and with no air on. Does that have done that before?
Yeah.
For 30 minutes, doors closed, turn all the air on, man, workout. But even the international people, the George Spankin McCurdy's, the Thomas Bridges, the Tony Russell Jr.'s, Calvin Roberts, people like that. Yeah, I watched them too, but it's that homegrown that really opened my eyes to, hey, I can do this. Like they say, when God bless your neighbor, that lets you know He's in the neighborhood. And that's how I look at it. Like, I'm in the neighborhood with these guys, so at one point God may bless me to be able to do what they do. So that's it.
Well, for me, well, my mom played drums, so a lot of people don't know that, but that's what inspired me. My mom was. I hope my mom don't kill me for saying this, but my mom literally was like in labor playing drums. So thank God I didn't fall on the hi hat stand.
Oh my God.
Thank God.
Oh,
But
God.
not saying because you know, thank God. Ooh, head is intact. Okay, but yeah. So my mom inspired me to play drums. My dad played piano, so I got the best of both worlds. My uncle played drums at the church and everything. My aunts played drums as well. And then I started to grow up a little bit, started to see other people. I didn't know that many people in Macon because I was a little sheltered. So that's when I met Dante after a while when I was younger, and I met Antoine and Cece and Trey and Pastor Alex, all them, Patrick, Brian. That's when I met them at that era between like high school. And then when I got to high school, that's when I met we had the shed going on for Aunt Howard birthday shed at his church years ago. Ooh, that was so long ago. That's when I met Wayne Thornton. I had met Cornelius, all them guys, man. And then I met Pratt maybe a year or two later. He the one got me started really on a lot of the piano stuff. My dad showed me much as he could because I know he worked a lot. But Pratt helped me with piano stuff and programming with Logic. I never forget when he showed me first Logic stuff. I was like, man, I don't know what's going on with the program. And then he showed me reasons. I was like, this don't make any sense. But after a while, I started digging into it. Like Dante said, practice it makes improvement, and practice is progress. So you keep progressing, you keep getting better at it. And so just keep doing it. And then after a while, I met Cornbread. Y'all know him as James Durham. He got me right on the business side, and really just getting me down to learning the record. I said it again, learning the record. Now I understand everybody's ear is different, but in order to increase your ear, you have to listen to different things in order to and then just simply pray that God open up your ear. I mean, because I prayed for it, man. I was like, God, I want to hear this. I want to be able to learn this. And then after a while, years later, met other musicians in the area, and then I ended up going to leave my home church but I've been gone for about 5 years now. Still love him. But I'm at Tabernacle Praise, and then Rico has been mentoring me since 2017, 18, and he's been helping me for the business, learning records, uh, doing stems, like everything. He's been a great, really big help, and even down to like a father figure, like just showing me different things, what I need to do, everything of that nature. So have somebody to hold you accountable. I didn't have an OG growing up, y'all. So when I played in church, what sounded good in my ear, yeah, you stand through a song, so you think you're killing it.
Yeah.
You go to the other church, they're like, they grab the sticks out your hand, you gotta go have a seat. You know what I'm saying? But see, I grew up in that era where, what I'm saying, we couldn't get offended. If we do that now, it's been a lot of musicians gonna be mad and gonna be trying to fight and cuss in the church, like what I'm saying. But there is a better way now, guys, to do things. After they get finished playing, if you want to talk to them, encourage them. Don't be like, hey man, so you was terrible tonight. I don't know what happened to you. I have people tell me that, and I've seen other people tell that. Not just be like, hey man, everything good. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I got a lot going on. And it's just encouraging because you don't know what they got going on at home. You know what I'm saying? Don't never beat somebody down because of something that they don't know. If you do know, help them.
That's it.
You know what I'm saying? So it's enough, I promise you, it's enough out here for everybody to eat.
Oh yeah.
It's plenty out here to eat. And like even now I had the opportunity to go on tour with Maverick City. And recently me and Dacha just did this worship collective thing with Charles King. Great event. We opened it for Fred Hammond. So it's like different things, guys. Like I said, I'm going back to the thing. Find your lane, find that vein, and stay in it.
That's right.
I'm done. That's it.
Oh man, hey man. Let's see my inspiration. My mom played drums too.
For real?
I hope she ain't looking at this, but she did. When I
Hey,
when I got my first when I got my first drum set, my mom was the one who put it together and actually got on there and played
Wow.
played it. Now she shot me because I ain't know, But
That's pretty dope.
that's she was a big inspiration. My uncle, mainly my family is music, full of music folks. But then in the middle Georgia area, man, I got Gino. I think I just seen his name on here. I got Gino. All the musicians that came from my home church. Because we used to be in the festival hall, like doing parties, like get together. They be able to share it, and they allowed me the opportunity at 5 to get on the drums and share it with them. And ever since then, that's when I started playing in the church, helping out, praying. No offense, Aunt June, but they know who I'm talking about. I used to be like, man, I hope they don't come to church today, so I can play.
Wow.
Yeah, be on. Hey, my organist ear be done gave me the little nod. Come on. As soon as I walk around the drum, then they come through the door. Dog, man, like, um, but
Wow.
yeah, hey, my another inspiration, R.I.P. my boy Boo Boo. Yeah, Boo Boo was really the first drummer I met out when I first got outside. Met him at the Douglas Theater, and it was that day he broke Chevy drum head snare drum. So I had to go get my drum. Was a piccolo, you know. At that time, the piccolo was in.
Explain it. There you go.
At that time,
It was good. It was good.
at that time, the piccolo was in. But then I was praying that Boo Boo didn't bust my head to the doggone piccolo. But man, Boo Boo was killing. You got people that like Marvin Morris. Y'all already said Cornelius, Chris Purcell. That's another one. Chris Purcell, man, that man right there. Like before he passed, um, I spent a lot of times in their rehearsals with Joe Rosa, and one thing Chris loved to do was play drum. Even one time I was about to talk about another drummer, he looked at me. He was like, "Nah." He's like, they don't have it. And it was like real home. Like I want to get mad at him for telling me shut up, man. I'm like, dude, you know how it is. We be one, but it always take that one friend to tell you, hey man, stay humble, just chill. Because you had to start somewhere too. So, but yeah, Chris Purcell, uh, shout out to my boy Dre, SI president. Now, um, he was one that gave me the opportunity to come in after Chris, and boy, I did not. Um, I just didn't think I had it. Like this, like they was on a different caliber. If y'all knew Joe Rose and them back in the day, they was on something else. And it had to take Sherelle. Shout out to her too. The whole group really. But Sherelle had to really talk me into it's all right. I want you to play. Chris wants you to do this. Stuff like that. So that inspired me a lot, and just to keep going, and I always give it that same energy, as I said earlier. Even unto God, that same energy. But it's a lot of inspiration, man. Everybody in that middle of Georgia, blueprint, gave me the opportunity, to be with them, man, and to go around, um, help me out when I needed the help, different stuff, and I don't take it for granted. Um, shoot, everybody, man, pretty much, it's a lot of folks down here. So yeah, I play drums and I play bass. So,
You guys start doing it. You guys. That's no signature.
yeah, but shoot, are there any other goals or anything that you're trying to accomplish? Like, I know y'all done, accomplished a lot now. But what are you trying to do from this point?
Well, I would say for me, my goal right now that I'm shooting for is to not only have money make that money just make for itself, but invest in my family and have something for my children to live off of as well too. So like that's the end goal for me is to have something for my family to say something that we built from the ground up and have my children either take it or what I'm saying, take it to the next level. I want my, if the Lord's will, I do want to have a little girl, and I want her to play drums and keys and bass, and just be just a straight beast on the instrument. Amen. But like,
Speak it, Reverend.
oh yeah, yeah, she got it. But that is my end goal is to invest in my future family. Um, I love investing in other people, but your first church is at home. So
You was a preacher. I knew you was a preacher. I still got your picture with the minister like.
where yours at?
I ain't done yet. I ain't done yet.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Deacon Dante. Anyway, Bishop, the Archbishop.
Oh,
But your first church is at home. So if you can't necessarily invest, teach, preach to your own family, and you're doing it for others, you got it all wrong. You got it all backwards. Invest into your wife. Invest into your children.
Yes, sir.
They are a product of you. So only reason why I know this because I've been around a lot of older folks, y'all. I love older people. They got a lot of wisdom, knowledge, a lot of knowledge,
Yes, sir.
and also learning from God Himself, reading the Word. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you don't understand something, you ask for help. So my internal investment and eternal investment is not on with my family, also in God as well. So yeah, that is my end goal.
I don't think we need to say nothing else. So it's pretty much like the same thing, you pretty much you a preacher. You a real
I take
preacher.
a teacher.
All right, preacher. But
Jesus.
shoot. Let's shift to because I know all y'all had a chance to work with kids. You know, uh well, so yeah. So all these guys here, they do the thing with the youth, and they are teachers. They are real teachers. They know their stuff. So yeah, if you get a chance at the end, we'll give, yeah. So shift over to the class. How do you connect with the kids? Like you had that one that's just don't want to talk. Kids take kids time to warm up. But how do you connect with?
Me personally, I've had quite a bit of experience unintentionally with kids. Let me say that one of my first like real jobs, I call it real job. One of my first non-restaurant jobs or whatever was working with youth at Mentors Project in Bibb County, and they service seventh graders through 12th graders in single family households and lower income households, and you get to see a lot. And at the time, I'm just like, I just glad I get to wear a tie and make a lot of money. Then I go to work, you know what I mean? But you learn a lot when you spend some time with people. And we were talking about diversity before this started. But when you get outside of your comfort zone and your circle and your neighborhood, you start to see how other people grew up. And I'm not saying we had it all together, but what I'm saying is a lot of the values that my parents had, you start to learn other families don't have those values. And so you have to learn to um, number one, figure out your part to play in that whole thing. I'm there at this job, and they paying me to do the job, find resources for these households and these children. And so you're at the school on site visits, and you're supposed to be getting information from a kid, and the kid won't talk, or the kid is crying, or the kid is throwing this, or whatever the situation is, and you can't just look at it and say, you know what, that's a bad kid, and label them and call it in. You have to get past and see the humanity. And so that's where I developed a lot of the skills that I use to this day. Um, and like I was saying, God was setting this up. Unbeknownst to me, my whole life, this what I'm doing now is my purpose. All of these gifts and talents that I developed. So anyway, long story short, um, one of the things I always say is that there are no bad kids. I know it feels like but there are no bad kids, man. There's a reason for everything. And when a kid comes in the brown music, I never slap music theory paper in their face and say, you got to do this. My mom was made to play piano, and I love my granddad. I'm not talking bad about him at all, but my mom was made to play. So when she got old enough, she never touched it again. I might have heard my mom play 5 times in my entire life. So when kids come in, man, I meet them where they are. If you're not interested in playing, symphony number 5, whatever, like, I'm not gonna make you do that. We get your basics, we get your foundations uh, in place, and then you tell me what song you want to play, and we'll pull the music theory from that. I won't name any minors' names, but I got a student who's a parent signed him up for lessons. He came in out the gate was like, I don't want to play no piano. I get it. What do you want to do? I want to go. I get that too. So you with me for the next 30 minutes. So, how can we make this productive for you and me? So what we did, I got into his world. What music do you like? Everybody like music. I don't care who you are. There is some draw to music. That's how I learned who King Von was. So, but even in that trap type music, there's theory to be pulled out. There are minor chords, there are progressions from threes to six. There are modes that you can learn. And so that's how we pull our lessons together. I let the children tell me what they're interested in, because now I got the hooks in you. You know what I mean? And so if you're interested in production, if you're interested in piano, if you're interested in key synth, if you're interested in drums, I'm not gonna hold you and be like, nah, you got this piano. I let the kids tell me what they want, and then I figure out where I can break something down and convey a lesson. So
That's so good.
Oh,
My God.
Um, I guess for me, the main 3 things that I do, especially with kids, is I pay attention, I listen to them, because that's one of the biggest things that we don't do as adults. We don't listen to kids. We feel like, oh, a child knows what they're talking about. Oh, they're just talking. But a lot of times, you'll be surprised what you'll learn from a kid. Like, literally, you'll be surprised what you'll learn from a kid. And, and I shut up. That's the other part. I don't sit there and bash them. I don't sit there and beat it over their heads and things of that nature, like Brandon said. I give them the opportunity to tell me, what do you want to learn? How do you learn? Because everybody don't learn by a piece of paper in front of them. Everybody don't learn by writing the notes out. Some people, you literally just got to do it 3 times and they catch it. Like I have a student now where he's never touched a drum a day in his life. And in 2 weeks, he learned 10 rudiments. Like on the back, no problem. But what I did was he's into music production. So I took the rudiments and I made beats out of it.
Wow.
And he caught on to me. He was like, okay, yeah, I hear the groove, I hear this, I hear that, yeah, Bob is right. And he learned from it. So, we have to learn how to bring what we know down to the level where they can learn.
That's good.
I deal with kids from different perspectives. I referee football, little league, high school, middle school, college. I do it all. And I see kids who, if it wasn't for this, they'd either be 6 feet under or they'd be behind bars for the next 6 years. This football, basketball, baseball, music, that's what's keeping them alive. That's what's keeping them out of trouble. That's what's keeping them away from home, because if they're at home, it's going to be all kinds of problems.
There you go.
It's going to be all kinds of problems, all kinds of craziness going on. My very first student, believe it or not, was autistic. And I learned so much from dealing with an autistic kid. I learned patience. I learned how to talk to a kid. I learned how to, just watch him and allow him to mimic what I do, which goes back to the character thing. Kids watching. I got a 3-year-old. I got a 3-year-old daughter. She want to do everything I do. She want to play drums. She want to be on the computer. She want to run out there on the football field. She want to do all these things. And it took for me to really realize, okay, she's watching me. Let me back off of a lot of the stuff that I used to do. Let me chill out doing this. Let me chill out doing that. And it's like that with all kids, man. They're like sponges. They're gonna pick up on everything. Whatever you say, whatever you do. I fuss at my daughter now because a lot of stuff that I shouldn't say. I'm to be real. She say it too. And a lot of times she says to the point where throw me off. When we get, man, they sponges and she getting me all the time. You need to stop saying it wrong. You need to stop doing this wrong because she picking up on it. Can't help it. It's just how to talk. But at the same time, we have to learn. We got to learn kids. I treat every child that I deal with like they're my own. Like they're my son, my daughter, my niece, my nephew. So I treat them like that. I don't care if they're white, black, Chinese, Mexican. I don't care what gender they want to be. It don't matter. I treat them like they're my own child, because at some point, your child is gonna go to somebody that's gonna have to teach them. And you want that teacher to teach and treat your child the way that you treat and teach their child. So, I just build a connection and just bring what I know to where they are, and then we meet in the middle. So,
Wow.
that's real.
Listen, Adriel has said a mouthful, but one thing that I do, I teach at Tabernacle Praise at my church. They have an academy, so it's called TOPCA, which is Tabernacle Praise Christian Academy. I have the pleasure of teaching kindergarten through 5th grade, and what I've learned is a lot of times kids, you'll be surprised how much stress they're up under. So the first thing I do is when they come to my class, I tell them to have a seat and we meditate. I literally put on worship music or I'll play. And that literally relieves them, able to, I feel like that opens up a doorway for them to learn and be receptive of what I have to teach. And it relieves pressure from them to feel like they have to not just have to learn it, but it's so much information, because it is a lot of information in 45, 30 minutes. But they're able to receive it in a way to where it's not feel like it's just everything is just crumble. It's just crumbling up. But it's literally like an open field and they're able to take information. I feel like meditation for my kids at the school helps a lot. And even down to how I teach them, like Adriel said, and Brown said, you have to get down to their level and know where they are. Like some kids, every kid has a different type of learning curve. So everybody has a different type of pace. So you have to be mindful that you can't teach advanced stuff to kids that are beginners. You can't Yeah, it's just like saying like we trying to learn these chords, these Ty Trippin chords, but we can't play Mary Little Had a Little Lamb. You know what I'm saying? Like, help me understand. Come on, doc. You know what I'm saying? We trying to do some Kevin Rogers licks, but we can't even keep a simple groove in time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We can't play with a metronome. So but working with kids is really a blessing, and they're the future. They're the future. If we don't do our part as teachers, we have literally failed. In the Bible, I love Bible and Lord. Jesus was the perfect teacher. He even said in the scripture, I don't know exactly what scripture and chapter and everything and verse, but he teaches down to where a baby can understand. That's simple. If we can't be that simple to our kids to where they understand, we have literally lost our whole generation. And then, no offense to the old folks, y'all gotta move out of the way and let these kids be themselves because they are proud of you, but they're not you. They literally have your DNA, but they will not necessarily be who you are. They have your last name, but guess what? They got God's last name because that's God's children. Okay, so we have to understand that kids have a different way of how they receive things, how they react, and what to be like Adriel said, be mindful what you do at home. Please be mindful what they watch. Social media is killing our generation. Internet, first of all, when internet came a thing, Google, Doc, that's it right there. Kids can find anything on Google. It is literally the number one search engine on this planet. Okay, so like you can't protect them from everything, but what you can do is train the child in the way that should go from the way they won't depart. Okay, that's literally scripture. So just teach them, like do your part. Because the thing with it is, if what we will fail at as teachers and just as people in general is that the world will teach the children, and we have not done our part at home. I'm not gonna have my child have somebody else teaching my own child, and I can't do that at home. I'm always gone somewhere else, but I can't take them with me. Oh, I'm too busy. Like you gotta make time. That's a whole nother subject. Anyway, go ahead.
It's real though.
It is real. So yeah, I like to stick with my times that I'm a structured person.
What you trying to say?
I
went over time.
No, I didn't say you went over time, man.
You looked at your watch like 3 times.
Oh man, cause I wanted to make sure I stay on time. You know, I said, brother offered me an hour, so I make sure I stay.
Gotcha.
You know where I need to stay.
Oh, okay.
You know, yeah, we said hour. Oh my God. Hey, yeah, this info, man. We gotta do it again. Because yeah, so yeah, because we was getting ready to go into another vein. When we talk about the jealousy and the those that don't want to see other people win in the middle Georgia area. So you know, what can we do? You know, what kind of positive impact we can make on that. But we'll talk about that, you know, another time.
I got
No,
Listen, Dante, I promise you, I could dismiss to 2 minutes.
no,
I promise you. I promise you, it'll be 2 minutes.
No.
Dante,
Look,
listen, you know about the topic. How about you start us since you brought the topic up?
You did bring it. You did.
I brought it up. I brought it up. See, I want them to tune in to the next. That really, I mean, the doors are open. That's what I was leaning to. You know, how the pastor got to get you know, that last, yeah, that part. You know,
Give us some.
so yeah, and like I was saying, UNC.
I am see.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, sir, Doc.
Yes. But no, on the real note, man, it was some good talking today. Um, I do want to make sure as to go along, we make sure we praying over our kids. Because kids out here, you know, getting into stuff that we ain't even get into. You know,
Scared to get
they
into.
yeah. My my mom used to flip me upside down. I had a dad that's, you know, hey man, people that was concerned, you know. Uh, but yeah, we have to pray with the youth, man. They fighting way more spiritual wise.
Yeah.
They are definitely fighting a lot spiritually. Um, so I'm like even my wife and I, we're learning as well to stand in the gap for our kids. That's something I always learned from. Now that's something I learned from the older saints. They stand in the gap because somebody stood in the gap for me. You
Absolutely.
know, so I'm standing in the gap. My wife standing in the gap for our kids. Again, they may not be where we want them to be, but we pray that God keep them. You know, and at some point in their life, that they have no choice but to cry out to God. You know, so but yeah, praying for that, praying for unity in Middle Georgia. You know, as I stated, we'll talk about that other situation another time. But unity needs to happen in Middle Georgia. And for those that are watching, like one of my homies, Van, you gonna make it, boy. You just keep doing what you're doing, keep working. You gonna make it, man. You gonna get that call because just because you see everybody else might be getting a call or whatever the case may be, that was their call. You got your own call that somebody's gonna call you. But you got to practice. You got to make sure you in place and ready for that call. When you get that call, be ready, man. Be ready. Always be ready. I ain't no prophet. I ain't none of that.
I just about to say.
I just set up.
I just about to say.
But anyway, yeah, Van, because you've been on my mind, but
Wow.
for a while.
Can I add to that? A lot of times we'll literally cause our own door to close because we don't have the faith and the confidence in ourselves to open up that door and for God to even activate the door. Faith without work is dead. So if we don't put our work into the faith that God has given us, He won't open that door for you. So you got to know that you dope at your instrument, that you the man, and it's not arrogantly saying that. You just knowing that you confident in what you do. Like, listen, I'm telling you, I'm nowhere near as good as these other keyboard players in this area, but God has blessed me to the point where I'm just like, wow, like you did this for me, and it's just it's I promise you, Van, it's not hard. You just give it to him and know that you can do it. Faith without work is dead, man. Put that faith to action and know that it's gonna work. Like literally, better yet, just do something crazy. Just be like, you know what, I'm gonna walk. Just simply just walk in the door, be like, you know what, walk into a studio, walk into Guitar Center. You know, I'm gonna buy that. That's how much faith I have. I'm gonna buy that. I'm gonna have that. Somebody gonna give me that. That's real. You got it, man.
Oh yeah.
We had dominion over the earth.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I heard a quote a while back. It stuck with me. To have something you never had, you got to do something that you never had.
God,
And
it's
that's
real.
so real.
That's so real. That's so real. Wow.
And you take that through music, any avenue of your life, whatever your norm has been for the past 10, 20, 30 years. In order to get a different result, put something different in. If you've never had the faith to do something, if you've never had the consistency to follow up and follow through with something, try it the opposite way. I guarantee you'll get a different result, even if it's not the one that you want. You'll find something else that you can kind of start carving and learning and fine tuning. And so, yeah, that sticks with me every day.
Yeah, comfortability is literally is where a lot of musicians fail at. We're comfortable in our own skin. We're scared to step out on the waters. Like, look at Peter. Look at Peter. He's not on the water. I'm like, listen, nah, realistically, I can't walk on water. We know that, but it's our faith. It's our faith that activates it. So just get out your comfort zone, man. You got it. Promise you, you're gonna make it, brother. You're gonna make it.
So yeah, hey, I even pray, over all the businesses that's around here, man. Everybody working, everybody eating, as we all say, it's enough for everybody to eat around here.
Yes, sir.
Ain't no need for all the other hate, all this other stuff, man. It's we got to be an example for these kids, man. It's a lot of kids that really want to learn how to do what we doing, as musicians or just as a person. Yeah, I want to be like you just because you make me laugh all the time, you know. So, um, but you know, it's you know, before I close this out, you know, I don't, if anybody, you know, as my slogan say, music that speaks to the soul, but the part that sticks out is the soul. So you know, your soul does matter. Uh, to those, you know, if anybody ever catch this video and watch the whole thing and get to this end part, we all are true believers of Christ.
Yes.
And you know, if you don't know Christ or you want to get to know him, holler at us. You can holler at us. I tag all our names up under this video. You know, we'll talk. We know we ain't gonna type that just gonna force something on you. You know, we gonna tell you what we know about God and how we live, what we went through, testimonies, whatever it is, whatever it is. But we are in times where we need God, and I want to make sure you're a believer of God. So uh, so yeah, man, I ain't that deep kind of person like that, but but your soul does matter though. Your soul does matter. Your child soul matter. Yeah, whoever your enemy soul matter. So, so yeah, hey, but since this is your house, both of y'all houses, but you're the CEO. If you could just pray us out real quick.
God, thank you for this meeting of brothers to be able to come together and
Yes, Lord.
share our experience, share our knowledge, share our hope and faith in you. That stuff that we've learned, we may be able to share with the next generation, God, and even those in our generation that are looking at not only just join the music industry or but anybody that this video may touch. Thank you for the talent that you've given us. Thank you for the ability to come together and fellowship as brothers.
Yes, God.
Thank you for saving our souls and allowing us the opportunity to offer you to others that may not know you as well. God, we ask that you continue to bless our gifts. We ask that you continue to bless those others that may be getting into this industry, God, and help them to remember the reason for having this gift.
Yes.
Help us to turn our gifts and our attentions back to you. Bless the generation coming after us. Bless the children, Father.
Yes.
And bless this podcast, this video initiative. Bless Dante and his family. Bless Adriel. Bless Kurt. Bless me, God, and thank you. Thank you for everything, those things that we may take for granted. Thank you for salvation. And as you continue to bless those things that we do, and continue to turn our hearts back to you. In your son Christ Jesus' name, we pray and believe you will. Amen.
Amen.
So again, so yeah, I'll be coming around to other places in Middle Georgia. So I'll be connecting with other fellow musicians. Everybody got a story to tell. Preachers, whoever, who's willing to come. I'm, so again, I'm Dante, D.B.P. Production.
Oompa Music Group.
Brandon Brown.
Adriel.
Listen, before you end, listen. So special shout out to you can keep playing the music. That's fine.
No, you gonna go that long,
Oh,
So go ahead.
special shout out to Dante for putting this together.
Yes, sir.
Like for real, big bro put this thing together. He hit us up. You know what I'm saying? He was like, hey man, I want to do this. And like literally, man is a visionary. So I thank God for him. I pray that the Lord blesses him tremendously beyond measures. More than anything he can think past his intellect. So we just thank God for Brother Dante Perry putting this together.
I appreciate it. I play now.
Yes, he played it. Oh my God. You hear this clown?
Music Monday with D.B.P. Production.
Sean Randolph.
Shout out Sean Randolph.
Shout out to Sean Randolph. Voice thing.
There's old Mr. Brown on the
Yeah, bass and drums.